Star Trek shares Dr. Crusher's heartbreaking Starfleet secret that nobody saw coming. Star Trek shares Dr. Crusher's heartbreaking Starfleet secret that no one saw coming. Dr. Crusher is one of Starfleet's best chief medical officers and even headed up Starfleet Medical. However, these achievements come with a tragic backstory. She lost her husband in an accident, leaving her a single mom. While Crusher has overcome this loss, it still haunts her, and she makes a stunning confession in Star Trek-27. Star Trek-27 is written by Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly and drawn by Mike Feehan and Tess Fowler. As the Theseus's crew struggles to hold it together in the wake of Lor's destruction of the multiverse, Dr. Crusher and Captain Sisko have a discussion about their pasts. Crusher equates her late husband Jack with Sisko's deceased wife Jennifer. Crusher then confesses that after Jack's death, she had trouble trusting Starfleet, saying, "They took everything from me." Instead, Dr. Crusher learned to lean on her friends. Crusher then relates her dilemma to Sisko's ongoing tempestuous relationship with the Bajoran prophets. For 6 of Star Trek, The Next Generation's 7 seasons, Dr. Crusher safeguarded the physical well-being of the Enterprise's crew. After stints on the Enterprise as well as Starfleet Medical, Dr. Crusher signed on board the USS Theseus under the command of Captain Sisko. During the course of her service, Sisko promoted her to Theseus's first officer, a major career move. She was reunited briefly with her son Wesley at the Pleroma, the realm of the gods. Tragically, Lor destroyed the Pleroma, which created a ripple effect across space and time, destroying all creation. Given Dr. Crusher's extensive service record, it would seem safe to assume she is loyal to Starfleet, which makes her confession to Captain Sisko in Star Trek-27 a bit jarring. Given Dr. Crusher's extensive service record, it would seem safe to assume she is loyal to Starfleet, which makes her confession to Captain Sisko in Star Trek-27 a bit jarring. Her husband Jack, also a Starfleet officer, died while serving with Picard on the Stargazer. It was a freak accident, and nothing could have saved him. Dr. Crusher could have walked away from Starfleet right there, but chose instead to stay. Starfleet personnel accept that risk, and death are parts of the job, and Dr. Crusher seemingly embodied this philosophy by continuing to carry out the organization's mission. Losing Wesley affected Dr. Crusher more than fans thought. In the years since Jack's death, Dr. Crusher has experienced even more loss, namely her son Wesley. Following in his parents' footsteps, Wesley enrolled at Starfleet Academy. Initially excelling in his studies, Wesley grew disillusioned with the lifestyle. Salvation for Wesley came in the form of the Travelers, a mysterious organization who safeguarded reality. Sensing something special in Wesley, the Travelers recruited him. He accepted the offer, but was forced to leave both his friends and his mother behind. When she met Wesley, she had not seen him in several years. When the loss of her son is coupled with her husband's death, it becomes clearer why she does not trust Starfleet. Jack gave his life, literally and figuratively, to Starfleet. While what happened was an accident, it can be hard not to blame Starfleet for it. Star Trek has hinted at Dr. Crusher's years between her husband's death and coming to the Enterprise, meaning fans did not see the immediate anguish she felt in the wake of his passing. Wesley departed her life at the end of the Next Generation's run, thus leaving her feelings about it up in the air. Star Trek shares Dr. Crusher's heartbreaking Starfleet secret that nobody saw coming. For decades, Star Trek fans have admired Dr. Beverly Crusher for her intelligence, compassion, and unwavering commitment to saving lives. As the chief medical officer of the USS Enterprise D and a beloved character in Star Trek: The Next Generation, she became an integral part of the franchise's legacy. However, Star Trek has just revealed a shocking secret from Crusher's past, one that not only changes how we see her, but also redefines her motivations for joining Starfleet in the first place. The secret that could break even Picard's heart: Dr. Beverly Crusher has always been portrayed as a figure of strength, balancing her personal and professional life with remarkable poise. But what if everything we knew about her past wasn't the full story? Recent revelations in Star Trek's expanded universe, whether in canon material novels or hinted at in Star Trek Picard, suggest that Beverly harbors a deep, personal tragedy that has shaped every decision she has ever made. While many assumed she joined Starfleet to honor her late husband Jack Crusher, who died on an away mission under Captain Picard's command, the truth is far more devastating. A classified Starfleet report, recently declassified within Star Trek lore, unveils that Beverly suffered a personal loss even earlier, a loss she has never spoken about. A child she couldn't save. Before marrying Jack Crusher and giving birth to Wesley, Beverly Howard was a rising star in the field of xenomedicine. While completing her medical training, she was part of a humanitarian Starfleet mission to a remote colony that had been stricken by an unknown alien virus. As a brilliant but still relatively inexperienced doctor, she worked tirelessly alongside a small medical team, fighting against impossible odds to contain the outbreak. Among the infected was a young boy, one of the first victims of the mysterious pathogen. Beverly formed a bond with him, doing everything in her power to save his life. She worked sleepless nights, exhausting every resource available. However, Starfleet had classified the nature of the virus, fearing it was of unknown extraterrestrial origin with potential biowarfare implications. This secrecy prevented Crusher and her team from accessing critical research that might have led to a cure. Despite her desperate efforts, the boy succumbed to the disease in her arms. The tragedy haunted her, but it was what happened next that would leave an even deeper scar. Starfleet's darkest decision. Unbeknownst to Beverly at the time, Starfleet had already made a decision to implement a planetary quarantine, one that would seal off the colony permanently. No one was allowed to leave, including the survivors. To Beverly's horror, Starfleet deemed it a necessary measure to prevent a potential intergalactic epidemic. It was an ethical dilemma beyond comprehension: condemn an entire colony to die or risk spreading an unknown plague. When Beverly attempted to challenge the decision, she was met with cold bureaucracy. The files detailing the true nature of the virus were sealed under the highest security clearance, and she was forced to leave the colony behind. Starfleet extracted only their own personnel. The rest of the colonists, including those she had worked so hard to save, were left behind, presumed dead. This moment changed everything for Beverly. It fueled her resolve to dedicate her life not only to healing, but also to standing up against morally questionable Starfleet decisions. She swore to never let bureaucracy stand in the way of medical ethics again. How this secret explains everything about Crusher. For years, Beverly Crusher has been known for questioning orders, especially when they interfere with the ethical treatment of patients. Her willingness to challenge authority, whether it be Captain Picard, Admiral Quinn, or even Starfleet Command, now makes perfect sense. This traumatic event from her past explains why she has always been so fiercely independent and unwilling to let protocols dictate matters of life and death. Even more heartbreaking is how this secret tragedy might have influenced her decision to leave Starfleet at various points. We saw her resign in Star Trek, Picard Season 3, having distanced herself from Starfleet for years. Fans speculated it was due to the dangers her son, Jack Crusher, the younger, faced. But what if part of it was also due to a lingering distrust of Starfleet's higher command? Her reluctance to fully commit to Starfleet might not just be about Jack Crusher, sir. He's death. It's about the weight of a past Starfleet cover-up that forced her to abandon innocent lives. A revelation that could shake Star Trek to its core. If this secret were ever to come to light in an official Star Trek series, it could have major implications. Would Starfleet finally acknowledge its past mistakes? Would Picard or other members of the Enterprise crew learn the full truth? And more importantly, how would Wesley Crusher,